Morning, welcome to
KidMath number 5.
KidMath number 5. So this is going to be sort of half lecture, half interactive, half needing an eraser. We're going to talk about something I just briefly mentioned yesterday and kind of alluded to today, that these quadratic equations tend to have two solutions. Okay? So the first thing we're going to look at is x squared minus 1. And I mentioned to you that one thing we can do is look at some graphs. Like if we looked at a graph of y equals x squared minus 1, this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. And this is going to look like this. And when we look at the zeros, x squared minus 1 equals 0, that's where the graph crosses the x-axis.
1 and negative 1 in this case.
Sorry?
1 and the points are 1 and negative 1.
Right, because those are the points where x squared equals 1. And what are some numbers that when you square them you get 1?
1 and minus 1.
X equals plus 1 and x equals minus 1. Okay? So you can see on the picture that we have two solutions. Now, my next graph here, x squared, let's see if I didn't bring a different color marker. Oh, but you did. Haha. That just takes this graph and just shifts it up. Now we're going to talk about why that happens later, but this is a graph that looks just like this. Y equals x squared. It seems to just
touch
the axis there. And so when we try to solve this equation, x squared equals 0, what do I get?
Well, it's just 0.
X equals, I'd like to say this is x equals plus 0 and x equals minus 0.
But they're exactly the same thing.
Those are the same thing. So this is a special case, and we call this a double root, even though it seems like there's only one. Might seem a little confusing, but when you get to calculus, it'll make sense why we call this a double root. Okay? But now here's one that's even a little bit more mysterious, x squared plus 1. This is going to take the same graph and shift it up even more. Okay, so now just looking at the graph, so where does this cross the x-axis? This graph
It doesn't touch the x-axis.
doesn't seem to. Yet me, math guy, has told you that these tend to have two solutions. Now, if they only have two solutions in cases like this, and sometimes have one, and sometimes don't seem to have any, why would I have said they tend to have two solutions? Do you think I'm crazy? What's your answer to that?
Yes.
Okay, well let's see. Let's see what happens when we try to solve x squared plus 1 equals 0. That turns into x squared equals minus 1.
Which means x is I.
Well, what are the two solutions to this?
I and negative I.
X equals plus I and x equals minus I. So I wonder how we can interpret that. But interestingly enough, there do seem to be two solutions here. I and minus I. Remember, an I is defined to be the square root of minus 1. Or I is defined to be I squared equals 1 is actually the better definition, but that's fine. So you can see, even just talking about these basic quadratic equations, we suddenly find out about imaginary numbers. Pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
Excited to learn about that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in your book or not, but maybe in the next book. All right, that's all I want to talk about today.